Welcome to the Bold Analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Today I attended the Wiper Party NDC in Uhuru Park, even though the notice came a little bit late. It was a very crucial event for the opposition heavyweights because it came at a time there were reports about cracks in that bench. The cracks were actually engineered to bring in the negative energy. And in this podcast, I will go straight and explain to you guys the strongest, most available ticket for the opposition team. So they must stop wasting time about it and fix it as soon as possible. It is the strongest and it is the most available before it is disorganized. Is Kalonzo, Matian'gi, in whichever order. It doesn't matter who is the candidate and who is the running mate. But that ticket is a bit more prominent. That is the ticket that can give William Ruto a run for his money. Kindly subscribe to our channel, and that's what I'm going to explain to you here. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell and like our videos. Subscription is good because if you subscribe, you'll be getting notifications when we publish our videos. And as I said, we are making a challenge. I just realized now by today, 5 out of 5 people subscribe, returning viewers. Wale wenye unaona video ingine tena wanaona ingine. So if you can improve, can you just confirm that you've not subscribed, whether you've subscribed? Una click that subscription button there, and when we publish our videos, you will not miss any of them. And by the way, quite a number of us were in NDC. You've watched Jubilee NDC. You've watched Martha Karwa's NDC. You've watched which other NDC? If you ask around, Safine and so and so. What is striking? What is a bit more special? What observation can you make if you followed it about that NDC by Kalonzo Musyoka? Let me say this. You can organize yourselves. You can do everything. But don't forget to go and register as a voter. The politicians are organizing themselves on how they can manipulate you, on how they can disorganize your reasoning. But one of the things, the only tool available for you is the voter's card. So continuous voter registration is going on. And you can see it is political season where people are trying to harvest. As you think about who are going to vote for MCA, governor, MP, senator, whoever, make sure you hold your voter's card. So walk to the nearest constituency office. There is a desk there. Utaweza kuchukua kura, because that is the tool available for you. I made some observations. There were 2 sessions. There was the special delegates, super delegates. Hawa ni Wiper. Then kulikuwa na the one for the general, which was like where they addressed the rally, some mini rally in Uhuru Park. I made some quick observations I want us to make from that meeting. Number 1 is the venue. Uhuru Park is under the Nairobi County. And Nairobi, the Nairobi boss is Sakaja. Now, I understand very well that even other parties, even other events organizers, ukijaribu kuorganize event pale, they've been refusing that you cannot hold a political event because that place is a place for public. So they have been refusing. Now, Kalonzo Musyoka endorsed Babu for Nairobi governor seat. So it was not easy, or it could not be easy for Sakaja to grant them the access. But they were granted access. Now, by the mere fact that Wiper managed to secure the venue as Uhuru Park for that event is not something you take lightly. Something is very critical about that. And my observation from the Uhuru Park is the fact that really, even within the county, they cannot meddle with Kalonzo because probably they understand the mass, the support base, even within the city. The second observation is mobilization. From the Uhuru Park crowds, and if you look at especially this photo, the crowds were very huge. And apart from them being huge, if I look around, even me hata nilipata cape, so because of neutralism, allow me nisivai yangu, but nilipata. And because of it, to be specific, because of the mobilization, you could actually feel that they put up some resources for that event. There were some resources that went into putting up that event. The other observation is the Ukambani backing. All the three governors and the deputies, Wavinya Ndeti from Machakos, Matian'gi-Kalonzo from Makueni, and there was Malombe from Kitui, and the others, including the senators from those counties. I may not be wrong. I suspect that they heavily funded that. They heavily funded that event. Now, if you understand something that was going on ahead of this NDC, the president's team tried to generate some headline, even though it did not go any far. Mwingi West MP Charles Ngusia Nguna of Wiper Patriotic Front Party decamped to William Ruto's Kenya Kwanza. This is the photo you are seeing here. He decamped. And maybe to them that was supposed to be, to create some optics to deflate that event. It deflected after meeting the president. And we understand that even the MPs, really, the only thing, there are two factors that I'm going to point out on, two factors that maybe they need to work on, probably. I will look at those two factors. But let me make the other observation before I look at those factors. The other observation is the stage optics. The stage optics. There is this photo of Matian'gi. Of course, Matian'gi went there a little bit later, and he was also to make a speech and leave. But you can see wakishikana pamoja. Remember, that meeting was coming at a time Kalonzo and, not Kalonzo, Rigathi and Matian'gi, they've been having some back and forth, some unnecessary back and forth, if you ask me. Even if there are differences. But the back and forth between Rigathi and Matian'gi, if you ask me, they've been a bit unnecessary. And you can see that Matian'gi was actually at the periphery. Yes, I know it is by design, by how he sits. But mostly in the venue, it doesn't really, haimanishi sana, but it happens. So if you look at this, Matian'gi was really at the periphery. Of course, waliposimama. But another photo on stage optics is this photo of Rigathi next to Kalonzo, hivyo. And clearly, Rigathi is giving Kalonzo a lot of prominence. Or rather, Rigathi is putting Kalonzo as his preferred candidate. He seemed to be giving in that Kalonzo could be his preferred candidate. They tried pulling the NASA 2010 as something that was going on. two things that Wiper must do moving forward. Number one, Kalonzo Musyoka needs a media team. Kalonzo Musyoka needs a camera, a quality camera. And let me just show you. See this gadget? Sorry. This gadget is called Yellow Box. Tunatumianga huko kwa foundation, ndio tunatumianga kwa live stream zile events za foundation. Kalonzo needs a good thing kama hiyo so that he can live stream. It cannot be that live yake ilikuwa poor even compared to ya Wavinya Ndeti. Yet Wavinya Ndeti, the governor, Wavinya Ndeti's governor's team had a better feed than you, Kalonzo. They should work on that. The other second undoing is the fact that apart from the principles, apart from Kalonzo, apart from Rigathi, Matian'gi, Karua, Muturi, and the others, the non-Kamba members of the party, I did not feel them. Except it was also good to bring in these two people. This is Nuru Okanga. I don't like sometimes his wordings. Sometimes they're very vulgar, by the way. Nuru Okanga. The voices from the streets, they're very important. Apart from Nuru Okanga, who's the Jacaranda guy, there's that Ngode Wangode. Yes, this gentleman, Ngode Wangode. He was a very strong DCP supporter. It was not very important to bring those new voices in the cameras. Actually, to give them that platform, it's also a bit important. And by the way, I understand, I was there and someone was telling me that I've yet to confirm, that I've confirmed actually, that Rigathi alipatia Ngode Wangode nyumba, so it doesn't pay rent. I think that's quite in order. That's quite in order. There are politicians that people fight for them, really, people fight for them na hajaiona. So I'm told alikuwa sorted alipewa nyumba, so that's something to appreciate. Two speeches that I really paid attention to, because for me they were the most critical ones. Let's listen to Matian'gi.
Every generation has a date with destiny, and every generation faces its own challenge. The one we face today in Kenya is to be true to ourselves and true to our country and save our country from the challenges we have today. Please allow me to say only one thing that is very, very painful to me today. What is going on right now in the country? And my colleagues, and I'm calling them colleagues because I just left the security sector 3 years ago, having served as Minister for Interior. The activities of registering people, some of whom are not even Kenyan citizens, getting identification cards and doing all manner of criminal monkeying that is going to affect our country, is setting the stage for anarchy in this country. I want to ask our brothers and sisters who are in government that, you know, there must come a time in the history and in the life of a public servant when you must think about your country more than the very basic issues of political expedience and political survival at any point in time. The madness going on right now and those things that are happening, denying young people registration in parts of the country where people suspect they will not get votes, is setting the stage for anarchy. And I want to ask the IEBC and everyone responsible to think about this country very seriously. You may be in responsible positions today, you may be in power today, but please think about the country today and tomorrow. Secondly, people have been saying that the mood in Africa is such that you cannot serve one term, that you know, it's very difficult to remove a sitting president. I honestly think that that nonsense has now been sorted out, and you know what that is. So, Kenyan people, soon enough we will have our opportunity to do a good thing for this country and follow suit and do what other good Africans have done where they have not been satisfied by service provision and service delivery. I honestly don't think we will let the Kenyan people down. Secondly, Your Excellency, I want to repeat and exactly say what Mother said here. We have agreed we must put ambition and everything else before the interest of this country. When we sit together, and should the united opposition, Your Excellency, decide that you will be the candidate, I will support you. We will support you. And I believe that when that time comes, when we all sit together, consult everybody, and a method is found of identifying a candidate or one of us who will deliver and be first among equals, we should all rally behind that individual. And as I've said here openly, Your Excellency, if that person is yourself, we will support you and back you, because in any case, that's what we want. Finally, as I leave, I would like to urge us, because this issue is normally spoken about, I'd like to speak about it a little more bluntly and more frankly. My brothers and sisters, fellow Kenyans, and it's good that we tell you the truth. Building an opposition or a coalition is a journey of alignment and coming together. We will be together in spite of our differences, not because we don't have differences. We will work on this together. It's a long journey that we are determined to work together. The goal we have is greater than the sum total of each one of us here. So, occasionally, if we argue sometimes, or if we have differences of opinion, that is precisely because we are a group of people who are passionate and love their country. We do not expect that Kenyans want a government that looks like a boys' choir or a girls' quartet. It is supposed to be a group of people who are smart, who reason, who work together, who argue, then they come together and form one government. So, as we go forward, we will have our own active moments of fellowship. But we assure you that even during that fellowship, Kenya will be opportunity and priority number one.
This person, Matian'gi, speaks about Ruto policies. That's different. There's a lot more difference. Now, he's a bit more reserved. Well, he's dating Ruto, but he's talking to people about the government. Then, when you compare Matian'gi's speech, he is also committing to, you know, whoever is picked around us here will support. And if you look at his reception was also very good. When you compare that to Rigathi,
Wana Waipa, munasemaje? Ati Waipa munasemaje? Harambee! Wewe Ruto, wewe Kasongo, wewe Kaongo, wewe Zakayo, wewe mwizi, wewe muuaji. Kasongo aende asiende? Kasongo asonge asisonge? Atembee asitembee? Aishie asiishie? Wangapi wanasema Kasongo aende, Kasongo aende, Kasongo? Mimi nashukuru sana. Hii ya Kasongo ni ya matawi. Ni mti ya matawi, si ya matawi. Na hiyo yeye akifuata mambo ya matawi amemaliza nchi yetu. Amepora nchi yetu. Ameua Gen Z. Amemwaga damu Kenya. Uchumi umeharibika. Lazima Kasongo aende nyumbani. Na sisi tunakubaliana ya kwamba tutatoa kiongozi mmoja. Mimi kama Rigiji nataka kusema nikiwa hapa Uhuru Park, kama formula tutatumia itaelekea na kumsaidia Kalonzo Musyoka akuwe ndio mgombea pekee wa upinzani. Mimi Rigathi Gachagua na wafuasi wangu ambaye ni mamilioni, nitaunga yeye mkono na kumfanyia kampeni. Na kampeni kama itakuwa ni huyu ndugu yangu, ile kampeni nilifanyia Ruto nikioni, ile nitafanya kampeni mara 10. Amen. Amen. Kwa hivyo Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, endelea kutafuta kura, endelea kuunganisha Wiper, endelea kuomba Mwenyezi Mungu, endelea kuongea na sisi. Ndio hii bahati ikikuangukia wewe, tutakuunga mkono ukuwe rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Amen. Kalonzo anaweza, hawezi? Mimi niseme kwa Wakenya, farasi ni mbili. Farasi ni ngapi? Farasi ni ngapi? Mtu unaitwa Kasongo na hii muungano ya one term. Hii ingine yote ni punda, si ndio? Na sisi tunajua Kasongo halali anatafuta watu wengine wanaitwa third force, ati wakuje hapo haribu kura yetu. Mimi nataka nitayarishe viongozi, wewe kama utakuwa kwa hii muungano hii ya one term, utapotea huko. Farasi ni wangapi? Farasi ni wangapi? Na Wakenya wameamua, mtu yeyote ambaye anataka kuwa rais ya Kenya, ambaye hatakuwa kwa hii muungano ya Kenya, yeye atapotea. Kwa hivyo sisi tutakaa pamoja na sisi tutazunguka Kenya, na urais hawezi tafutwa ukiwa nyumbani. Urais unatafutwa tukitembea kwa wananchi, si ndio? Kwa hivyo sisi tutatembea kila mahali tukiongea na Wakenya, tukikaa pamoja. What we want is to promise the people of Kenya, we shall not let you down. We, the united opposition, will remain united to the end and produce one presidential candidate to face William Ruto.
Listen to this. Combative and is the destroyer element, and is the person who has nothing to take and nothing to lose and can take on anyone, whichever way. It's the dusty player. For people who understand, for people who follow football, is the Caicedo of Chelsea. Yes, is Pedri of Real Madrid, and is Zubimendi of Arsenal. This is why I only have 3 compelling reasons why I believe that that is the strongest ticket, that Matian'gi-Kalonzo and Kalonzo-Matian'gi is the strongest ticket. And by the way, within the crowd, jaribu kuongea na watu mzee, nani anafaa chukua? Kalonzo aende na Matian'gi. Even if you just make this random, and maybe one day I can try it. Just go to the market useme between Kalonzo na Matian'gi. Usiende Kisii na usiende Ukambani. Hapa Nairobi tuende tu Uhuru Park. Kati ya Kalonzo na Matian'gi, nani achukue ticket? Kwa hao wenye wamesimama hapo, nani atupe ticket? Yes, that was Kalonzo's event, so Kalonzo will be dominant, but they are saying Matian'gi, Kalonzo. Anyway, if Rigathi is not vying, who else? It can only be Kalonzo and Matian'gi. But this is where that ticket is it is the most available, and it is the strongest. It is the strongest SWOT analysis. Let me do it SWOT analysis. So one of the strengths of that ticket is that it will deflate, and listen here, it will deflate the narrative that the opposition bench is a purely tribal thing. Purely. Why? If you take the numbers, if you simply go tribal of Kisii and Kamba, you cannot get, you'll get some 2 million maybe. Is it 2 or 2.5, something there? So if it's tribal arrangement, would you want to say that the two will get it? No. Now what that would mean, and in terms of deflating that, is tribalism, it will stretch the opposition to go outside, to go beyond all that. They will struggle with the numbers, and that will stretch them. Unlike where you are saying, I have Rigathi and probably have Kalonzo, and you're saying, no, I'm so sure I have 4 million, then I have Kalonzo's 2 million, so I already have 6. So you can be tempted to be relaxed. But the Matian'gi one is a ticket with a higher conversion rate. In terms of converting, that's one of the strength, SWOT. So strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, yes. So one of the weaknesses of that is the fact that there is no one in that ticket is combative. Hakuna mtu anatogonga Ruto kwa kichwa, hakuna nyundo hapo. Both of them are a bit diplomatic. But it's one that can be compromised. Of course, with that ticket also, it might not have a higher parliamentary results. That's let me go there. Let me not go there. So let me go to the opportunity that is available there. One of the opportunities available for that ticket is to harvest the Gen Z vote. Because Matian'gi comes up as a new face there. So you have Matian'gi there. When you have Kalonzo, Ruto, tumezoea, amekuwa vice president. But you have Matian'gi, looks like, new kid in the block. And the young people, wale wenye akiserve kama Minister of Education, wanaona vitu alifanya, so they can have a listen. The threat is what I had mentioned, that it might not have a big turnout in parliament. And with that, the fellows are impeachable. That is the only threat with it. Is that if the Wiper and probably Jubilee or Matian'gi's party, if they cannot give good parliamentary turnout, so it will be a ticket that the president is leading, the troop is leading parliament, must dictate what the executive does. And through that, maybe simple fallout. And we've set a precedence that you can impeach the president and his deputy, you can impeach the deputy. There is a threat in it. But that is my take. And you can also give me your feedback on what you think about this. Thank you.